Okay, Dustin, now that we have some of the basics aside, how do I take the next steps if I want to start moving into presentation mode? Where would I go?
Hey Lisa, that's a great question. So one thing Ventuz is really good at is creating interactive presentations. So we can today explore kind of a workflow that you would follow to build a really simple presentation at Ventuz. So yeah, let's get started.
Okay, awesome.
So I guess how would you want to start your presentation? Would you want to start by adding an image or something?
Yeah, like a slide or a nice image, try and catch people's attention.
Okay, awesome. So I got a new presentation here open in Ventuz Designer. So let's just start by doing something really simple like having an image fade in and out. So um, we will, as always, add our trusty, um, whoops, sorry, I'm on the wrong screen here. Okay, so the first things first is we're going to have to add a texture. This texture is going to allow us to connect our picture later on. So we're going to add our texture node to the hierarchy here. So we're going to add texture loader here, drop them in, and you might notice nothing's happened. So the reason for
Right.
that is there's no geometry for this texture to be drawn to. So to fix that, we need to add a rectangle. So we'll add a rectangle to our scene here, and then he's really tiny, so maybe we'll scale him up a little bit so he's a bit easier to see.
Okay, now I see something.
So awesome. So you see this checkered rectangle. So this is going to
Right.
be the square where we'll put our images later on.
Okay.
So when we want the image to come into our presentation, maybe we want it to fade in and out. So we'll very quickly create a animation that does that now. So we'll switch over to our animation workspace here real quick. And
Mhm.
I'll move my animation timeline up into a location that makes this a little bit easier to see for this video. So hopefully you can see my animation timeline in the center there.
Yep.
So what we want to do is animate the opacity for this texture. So we need to expose the alpha value here and add a keyframe animation that can be
Okay.
bound to this value. So then when our keyframe animation node has been added, we bind the alpha value to the animation node, which will then add it to the timeline. And then
Right.
if you remember from our previous video when we were creating different animation states, we're going to be doing that today as well. And the three animation states will make a lot of sense later on when we start working with the slide manager.
Okay.
So we want kind of a hidden state and a show state. So we'll want to add our three animation states here. We'll connect them using a right click drag, this we did last time. And then we need to change these values so that the thing actually animates. So value 0 or state 1, we will make a value of 0 so that it has an opacity of nothing when the scene starts so that it will fade in. So state
Right,
2
that's
will
our
be
beginning.
100.
Okay.
Yeah, and then state 3 will be a value of 0. So if I
Right.
put that, and then we go to the begin state, and then we transfer from begin to next, you can see it animating between the different states here.
Awesome.
So that's basically like the simplest way we can get an image to fade in and out. So before
Super.
we get carried away here, it'd probably be a good idea to save our scene. So
Right.
this
Very
is
important.
slide test
One question
and
I do have, when
save.
I see the square immediately, is that my full screen or is that a square inside my screen for my presentation?
It's a great question. So let's have square inside of your screen. So this black border here in your render window is a
Yeah,
visual representation of your entire canvas used for the project we're working in.
got
So all
it.
of that black is just blank space around your screen where the square goes on.
Okay. That's our canvas. Super. All right. I'm getting excited to fill it.
All right, great. So